Yo, welcome into the PATS podcast. I'm your host, Beej, Beethoven, Beej.com, whatever you want to call me. Bringing y'all episode 3. I know it's been a little while. I was a little sick. We had the holidays, traveling, and all that. And I just kind of wanted to wait and give y'all a full episode after the final week of the NFL season, regular season. So that's why I was gone for a little bit, but I'm back now. So welcome in, Pat's Rap Podcast. Let's get right to it. Your New England Patriots season is done. Over. 4-13, exact same as last year. Um, However, we did win the last game against the Buffalo Bills. So it's always good not to get swept by the Bills, but it felt like a preseason game. Nobody played their starters for real. So we won the game, but we lost the draft. Yeah. We went from first overall to now fourth overall in the draft order. I'm personally not that mad about that. Honestly, I mean, I don't think the number one draft pick in this draft was worth as much as even the third pick last year was. The Giants and the Vikings offered us hauls for the third overall pick to try and get Drake May. I don't think anybody's doing that this year for, the top picks, whether that's Travis Hunter, Shadir Sanders, Cam Ward, so on and so forth. I don't think anybody's offering that kind of haul for the number one overall pick. So I'm not too mad dropping down to 4. I think dropping to 4 makes it easy. Um, if I was working in that front office, I'd go offensive tackle. Easy decision. I mean, it's obviously the biggest need on this team. I mean, you can find receivers, you can find talent on the outside. Um, DK Metcalf is a free agent, T. Higgins is a free agent, and a couple of others. You have the money, just push it across the table to these guys. And I'm sure that you could find a top 10 receiver in free agency or even a sleeper in the draft. But offensive tackle, it's obvious that we need a first round blue chip, blue collar offensive tackle ready to start day one kind of guy. It's obvious that that's what we need. Our offensive line play has been abysmal all season. And luckily for us, it didn't get Drake May killed. So I'm not too upset about, winning the game and it going down to, or us going down to the fourth overall pick. It doesn't bother me that much. What does bother me is that your New England Patriots have fired the head coach, Jerod Mayo. I'm not here to defend Jerod Mayo. I'm not here to say that he's an outstanding head coach or he was amazing and he's going to lead us to the promised land. What I am here to say is that it's unfair to judge him off of 1 year when he was dealt a very raw deal, a very bad hand, whatever you want to call it. The team stunk talent wise. The front office didn't spend as much money as they promised to. He had to sit through 6 games of Jacoby Brissett. The defense wasn't playing up to snuff, and that's what I will blame him for that. He is a defensive minded head coach, and that defense went from top 10 to bottom of the league. So I put that on him. They didn't surround him with veteran coaches. They put a bunch of first year coordinators around him. I think his only pick was Covington, which, pardon me, was a first year candidate. So I'm not here to say that he did a great job and he should have kept his job. But what I'm here to express is that the NFL really doesn't give anyone chances anymore. And it's crazy. No room for development, whether that's players, whether that's coaches, front office, anybody. Owners are getting rid of people in an instance if they don't show results within year one. You're lucky if you make it to year 2. And it's crazy to me. I mean, what are these coaches expected to do when obviously they've inherited something pretty terrible if the head coach from the previous year got fired? You know what I mean? And the next guy that comes in, which I wholeheartedly believe is probably going to be Mike Vrabel, um, because that's what everybody in Patriots media is saying. And he has a relationship with the Crafts. He's a Patriot Hall of Famer. So pretty sure it's going to be Mike Vrabel. Not my first pick, but I'm not going to be too upset about it. He's going to come in and have to do a lot. And I don't know if expectations are going to be that he's going to take us to the playoffs either. Now, do I think if he doesn't take us to the playoffs, he's going to get fired after 1 year? No. because he's Mike Vrabel and not Jerod Mayo. So that's my take on Jerod Mayo getting fired. Hate to see him go, and I want to say this, and it's important to me that in my lifetime there was a black head coach for the New England Patriots. It's not something that I ever thought that I would see, and I probably won't ever see again. But I'm honored to have witnessed it. I'm also extremely grateful to being able to go to a game physically and see a black head coach as the head coach of the New England Patriots on the sideline. So I wanted to make sure that I got that out because it's extremely important to me. Um, we all know how the NFL can be. We all know how the world can be. So I think that that was extremely important, and I'm glad that it at least got to happen. If it was only for 1 year, he can always say that he, Jerod Mayo, a black man, was the head coach of the New England Patriots. So I'm appreciative of that, and I hope the best for him. And like I said, I think he was dealt a raw deal, man. But my ideal coaching scenario or coaching staff for the team moving forward, I personally, like I said, I don't really want Mike Vrabel. I don't want another defensive minded head coach. And my thinking behind that is that if you get a defensive minded head coach that doesn't call the offense, he has to hire an offensive coordinator. So when he brings in that offensive coordinator, we have Drake May. He's awesome. So if that OC takes Drake May to the next level and the offense performs at a top 10, top 5 level in the NFL, guess what? That offensive coordinator is going to go get a head coaching job. And now Drake May is going to have another offensive coordinator, 3 and 3 years or 3 and 4 years, whatever, instead of maintaining some continuity, because I'm sure Alex Van Pelt is out of there along with Jerod Mayo. So if they bring in an offensive minded head coach and he does well, he's not going anywhere else because he's already the head coach. So he can stay and develop Drake May and build with Drake May. And that's not going to happen if you get a defensive minded head coach because the OC, like I said, if the OC does well, then he's out of there. He's going to get a head coaching job. So that's my fear. My ideal coaching scenario would be Ben Johnson. I'm just extremely impressed. I watched a lot of the Lions games this year, and I'm just extremely impressed with his play calling. Um, I'm sure he's a smart enough guy to bring in a staff around him that's a good culture building staff, veterans on the staff to help him maintain the team and all of those things. The kind of mistakes that Jerod Mayo made, I don't think Ben Johnson would make those mistakes just looking around the league and even looking primarily at the Patriots situation. I'm sure he would bring in a more veteran staff to help him kind of run the team. So I don't think we would have the same issue with the first year head coach like we did with Jerod Mayo. But I don't think the Crafts want to hire another first year head coach. I wholeheartedly believe that they want somebody with some experience. And I believe it's going to be Mike Vrabel because it's kind of an easy pick. He said he wants to do it. Patriots Hall of Famer, knows a team, has had success other places. So he's not just a Bill Belichick disciple. He's had, you know, a head coaching job before, coordinator jobs here and there. So he's a better candidate than Jerod Mayo was. Um, but again, like I said, I don't really want to run it back with another defensive minded head coach. I would much rather bring in an offensive guy and really get the ball rolling with Drake May. Because if Mike Vrabel brings Arthur Smith to the Patriots, I promise y'all I'm boycotting the Patriots. I'm not watching any of it. I don't care. I'm not watching an Arthur Smith offense. I can't do it. So I'm interested to see who he would bring in. I don't know if it'd be somebody from the NFL, somebody from the college game, maybe somebody that was on the Browns staff because he spent the year with the Browns this year. I don't know. But yeah. So again, like I said, my ideal coaching staff would be Ben Johnson and whatever coordinators he decides to bring in. I think Jeremy Springer, our special teams coordinator, deserves to keep his job. His unit was the only unit with the Pro Bowler. But a lot of Mike Pellegrino, the DB's coach, he can stay, but a lot of those other guys can go. I would love to see Dante Hightower and Slater stay. I hope those weren't just Jerod Mayo's friends, so he kept them. I hope that they're valuable coaches to the organization, and I love Slate. I love Dante Hightower as a player, and I think they're valuable people to have around that locker room to help maintain that Patriot way culture that Mike Vrabel is probably going to try to bring back into the locker room. So it'd be good to have guys like Dante Hightower and Slater still on the coaching staff or helping the team in any kind of dynamic. Yeah, I mean, I don't have too much to say about the Patriots this time around. I know this is the Pats Rap podcast and all that, but I mean, it's hard to really say much after a 4-13 season. Um, what I will say is, I think the team underperformed its already low expectations. By that, I mean I think everybody expected the defense to be better. They weren't. I don't know. We didn't really have real expectations for the offense because we didn't know when we would see Drake May. I think he played well. You know, he had a solid rookie year. He's got to cut down on the turnovers, but I think he played solid. Um, but yeah, I think the team underperformed an already low bar. And that's, it's why the head coach was fired, and obviously the rest of the coaching staff is going to be fired too. My biggest disappointments of the season this year, I mean, if you've been watching the past two episodes, you already know who I'm going to say. It's incredibly obvious. Jalynn Polk is the biggest disappointment of this entire season. I cannot even believe that we missed on another high receiver draft pick. I cannot even believe that that's happened again. And he did even worse, I believe, than N'Keal Harry's first year. Jalynn Polk had 12 catches for 87 yards and 2 touchdowns over 16 games. That is terrible. Terrible. He's still missing. He's still on that milk carton. He didn't play today, so he's still on the milk carton. I haven't found him yet. When I find him, I'll let you guys know. He's probably back in Lufkin, Texas already by now, because he probably can't show his face out there because he's just, look, man. And I'm coming from a place of love, due and respect. Like, I want the guy to be good because obviously he's on my team, and I thought he played solid in Washington. But man, it makes no sense how you come out and say that I'm a baller. You know, I got the best hands in the league. My drops aren't mental mistakes, and after that, you did nothing. So I kind of don't want to hear him talk again until he shows on the field that he can belongs in this league. I don't think you can blame the scheme. I mean, everybody else on the team found ways to get the ball. Kayshawn Booty, Demario Douglas, Kendrick Bourne, all these guys found a way to get the ball. Why can't you? You were doing it all at camp. You were doing it in preseason. And as soon as the games became real, you disappeared, man. So to me, it sounds like you crumbled under the pressure. You couldn't handle it. You couldn't handle being the guy, or projected to be the guy. And that sucks. But hopefully you take some time in the off season to figure it out, get in the lab, go to throwing camps with Drake May and all these things, and you come back a new guy, man. Excuse me. Because as of right now, you're a bust. Plain and simple. Jalynn Polk is a bust. Calling it now, right here on the Pats Rap podcast. I hope he listens to this too. And if he ever hears this, hey man, tweet me on X or hit me up on Instagram. I'll tell you exactly how I feel, man. That's not gonna change, man. Jalynn Polk, you gotta do better, bro. So he was single handedly the biggest disappointment of the season. Secondly, I would probably say the defense. Other than that, kind of what I expected. I'm just glad that we have what appears to be a franchise quarterback for the foreseeable future. Um, Hopefully, the Crafts do a real coaching search this time around and really get some perspectives of other candidates around the league. And I just hope that the direction of the team is for the best. That's all I can say. I really hope that the direction of the team goes back to, our days of excellence. I got to watch 20 years of excellence growing up, and now I have to watch the past 4 years of crap. I mean, 2021 was okay when Mac Jones rookie year, but obviously they just, you know, pulled the wool over our eyes. It wasn't real. We've seen who this team really is for the past couple of years, and I'm not even wearing Patriots gear today. It just didn't feel right. Today kind of felt like a funeral for Jerod Mayo. I mean, I guess everybody could see, everybody could tell. So I'm not even wearing Patriots gear. I got one of Kanye's $20 hoodies. This is not an ad. He doesn't pay me to say that, but I'm just chilling. It's just what I had on today. I just hopped on here and wanted to give you guys an episode. So yeah, hey, that's all I got on the Patriots in Week 18. I mean, um, I guess I could get into some other things around the league, some playoff predictions. This week was kind of weird. There's a couple of games like the Broncos game, the Bengals game, the Falcons, and the Bucks and Saints game that had playoff implications. But for the most part, around the league, it felt like the long lost week 4 of the preseason. That's what it felt like. A lot of people that nobody's ever heard of taking the field and playing meaningful minutes, coaches evaluating these players. So, yeah. Uh, as I'm recording this, the Vikings and the Lions games just wrapped up, and the Lions put belt to ass on the Vikings. Sorry to my friend Nate, but they put belt to ass. I don't know. I'm gonna ask him his thoughts, but I don't know if he felt like it was a fluke or if they were just outmatched because that that didn't look good. So the Lions have the number 1 seed in the NFC. Chiefs obviously have the number 1 seed in the AFC. Let me take a look at the brackets and give you guys some predictions. So, like I said, the Lions, let's go to the NFC side. The Lions have their bye, and you got Minnesota and Tampa Bay. I'm going to go Minnesota on that one, even coming off of what they just came off of. I think their defense is just extremely solid. So, I think they're going to win that game. You got the Commanders and the Rams. Personally, I'm rooting for Jaden Daniels. I want the Commanders to win that game. But the Rams are on fire right now. They got healthy and they've been playing lights out. They've been playing incredible since they kicked our ass. So that's a toss up. I'm gonna go Commanders. Um, even though experience plays a part, so that bodes well for the Rams. I'm gonna go Commanders. And Eagles and Green Bay, that's easy. I think Eagles are my pick to go to the Super Bowl. So I think they handle business in Green Bay. Jordan Love's not that guy. And they're a little banged up right now. So I think the Eagles win that handily. Let's take it over to the AFC. Obviously, the Chiefs are the number 1 seed, so they got the bye. You have Denver and Buffalo. I think Buffalo cleans up Denver pretty easily. Um, I think knows that Bo Nix isn't going to throw the ball down the field, so they'll step up on that. Probably a lot of cover 2. Um, Probably a lot of cover 2 man, honestly. And yeah, I think they handle business. And it's a home game for Buffalo, so yeah, they're gonna get Denver out of here. LA Chargers and Baltimore. That's interesting. The Chargers seem a lot better because they're a lot better coached this year. But Baltimore, I mean, Lamar Jackson's my MVP pick. That's a whole nother conversation. But yeah, Lamar Jackson. He should be the MVP. And if he's not, if they give it to Josh Allen, it's gonna feel a lot like the Joel Embiid MVP when they were like, here, bro, damn, like we'll finally give you one because we keep saying you're a top player in the league. But personally, Lamar Jackson's playing the best ball in the league. So I'm going to go Ravens, but kudos to the Chargers team. I think they're playing very well. Pittsburgh and Houston. Pittsburgh is kind of on a losing streak right now. I think 4 straight games. They're not playing well. That offense is terrible. Ran by Arthur Smith. Terrible, terrible, terrible. I don't know how this guy keeps getting jobs. I don't think Russell Wilson's washed. I just think he's a product of terrible play calling. And his receiver, George Pickens, has kind of been letting them down too. So yeah, I'm gonna go Texans on that one. I think CJ Stroud wakes up and is the CJ Stroud that we saw last year. Sucks they don't have Tank Dell, hoping for a speedy recovery for him, but they have Nico Collins, um, and they got Joe Mixon. So I think that they can take care of business in Pittsburgh. My Super Bowl picks are currently the Eagles and the Chiefs again. Um, I think those teams are the teams playing the best ball in the league. I mean, for a lot of the league, I was saying I don't think that this Chiefs team can stop Josh Allen, but I think they have some injuries on the defense. And Andy Reid is going to exploit that. So I think the Chiefs make it back, as much as it pains me to say. Yeah, I'm your resident Patrick Mahomes hater because I'm obviously a Brady fan. Um, and I think the Eagles win that game. I think the Eagles, healthy, are the best team in the league right now. They look unstoppable at every level, offensively and defensively. They look like the best team in the league. So I'm going to go Eagles, Chiefs in the Super Bowl, and I'm going to say that the Eagles win. Uh, Relatively high scoring game too. I'm gonna say like 27-24, maybe a walk off field goal. Either way, but like I said, I'm going Eagles. Um, so yeah, that's all I got. I'm excited to watch the playoffs. See some good teams in there, good matchups. I don't think there's going to be any like blowouts or anything like that, like the first round of the college football playoffs was, but or the second round. I'm sorry, but excited. Sucks that my team is not playing football in January, but to be expected. Let's get into a little bit of a college football moment. So we got Texas and Ohio State, and we have Notre Dame and Penn State. If you would ask me at the beginning of the season, I did not have Notre Dame or Penn State in the top four. Let me tell you. So that's going to be a good game. I think that's a toss up. I have a lot of friends that support Penn State. I'm going to go Notre Dame. I feel like they're playing really tough, hard nosed football. Their running back is crazy. I can't think of his name right now, and I apologize. But the way they ran all over Georgia without the quarterback having to even do much, it's going to be hard to stop. I think Penn State is a decent team, but I think they're more of a like opportunistic team. Their defense causes turnovers and they score off those turnovers and things like that. So I'm going to go Notre Dame winning that game and getting to the championship. And obviously, I know you guys see the cup in the background. It's not intentional. I don't get paid by UT, but UT fan, I'm a homer. So, well, before I even get into that, I love this team. I love this defense. I love Coach Sark. I do not love our quarterback, Quinn Ewers. And I used to be a Quinn Ewers apologist. Like I used to sing his praises. This kid is going to lose us game. He's going to, if we lose this game, it's going to be because of Quinn Ewers. And his numbers are going to look cute 25 of 32, 360 yards, 4 touchdowns. But there's going to be one pick in there. And that one pick is going to decide the game. And he's been trying to lose these games with these turnovers. It's like he's getting paid off or something. I don't know. But I trust his team. I trust his defense. I trust his coach, but I do not trust this quarterback. So, yeah. Texas, Ohio State. I'm going Texas all day. Don't really care. Don't even need to give a reason why I'm going Texas. Everybody's on the Ohio State hype train like they are just Thanos or something. And Ryan Day was on the hot seat a couple weeks ago for losing to Michigan, who we dog walked. So, yeah, I'm not too worried about Ohio State. I think our defense is good enough to shut down Smith. And yeah, going Texas, man. That's all I got to say. So I'm going Texas and Notre Dame in the championship. And if you ask me who's going to win that game, guess what I'm going to say? You're damn right. Hook 'em. So we don't have to spend too much time on that. Um, just wanted to give you guys a college football predictions. Like I said, my reactions to the games weren't too crazy. I mean, it is crazy that all the teams that had buys lost, but they're gonna have to reevaluate how to do the seeding because just because you won in your conference doesn't might not mean anything in the grand scheme of things. So not really too surprised. I'm glad that Notre Dame knocked Georgia out because Georgia's the only team I feel like could beat us because they obviously beat us twice already. So I think that just made our path that much easier. I thought Oregon's were frauds the entire time. I watched Dylan Gabriel at OU. I was never impressed. So I thought they were frauds. They just have a lot of talent because of that Nike money. Um, yeah, Boise State, they were frauds too. The Genty's good. He's great. But Boise State were frauds for the most part. So I think the better teams are in the Final Four, and that's how it should be. And I think the better teams will be in the finals too, in the championship. So I don't have any real gripes as far as the college football playoff bracket or seeding. Well, I will say with the seeding, they probably should look at, depending on who wins the very first round, they should look at reseeding to make better matchups so that there's not blowouts or, you know, well, I guess you want upsets, but maybe you want to put a better product out there and just kind of reevaluate everything. I think every year is going to be a constant reevaluation of the college football playoffs and how they want it done because people are going to be mad. People are going to complain, like, why aren't we in? Why isn't my team in? They won this amount of games, blah, blah, blah. Alabama fans every year. So they're going to reevaluate it every single year. Um, but yeah, I don't have an issue with it right now. So I'm excited to watch. Excited that my team, at least one of my teams, is still playing meaningful football. So that's all I got on college football playoffs. Yeah, I think that's pretty much all I got. Again, your New England Patriots, 4-13 again, nowhere near the playoffs. Fourth pick in the draft, new head coaching search. Um, yeah, I just hope they do the right thing in picking this coach, and I hope that they bring in people who can develop this receiver core because the receiver core is what is killing us the most, man. We cannot develop receiver talent. Jacoby Myers should still be on this team, man. It kills me every day. So that's all I got. I guess I want to take a little bit of time to talk about the direction of the podcast moving forward. I know it's called the PATS podcast, and I'm going to keep it that way, but I don't want to pigeonhole myself into only talking about the Patriots, man. I love sports. I love football. I love basketball. I watch a little bit of baseball, soccer occasionally. I love sports, man. So throughout the off season, well, at least the Patriots off season, I'm going to do more draft stuff, talk about other teams around the league, talk about the NBA, just get into all things sports. Um, I also want to get some of my friends, colleagues, people that I respect their sports opinions, get them in here and we can talk a little bit of sports so that you guys don't have to just listen to me talk about, the Patriots all the time. Just get other people's thoughts and, perspectives on things to really make this, enjoyable for y'all. And if you guys have any, things that y'all want me to talk about or anything, put it in the comments. If you have my number, text me, shoot me a DM on Instagram, Twitter, or whatever. I have no problem, taking you guys' suggestions and, adding things into this show. I do this for y'all. I like to sit here and talk sports, but I do this for y'all, the listeners. So thank y'all so much for the support that y'all given me so far. Y'all help keep me motivated to keep doing this. I know it's only episode 3, but it means the world to me when people hit me up saying, "Yo, when the pod drop in, are you gonna talk about this on the pod? You're gonna talk about that." That means a lot, man. That keeps that makes me want to keep doing this. So I appreciate all the love and support. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, like the video, comment on the video, watch my old stuff, hit me up, let me know things that you guys want to hear me talk about, and we'll keep this thing going. Hey, so it's me. Beej, Beethoven, Beej.com, whatever you want to call me. I'm your host of the Pats Rap Podcast, signing off.